Alright everyone, welcome back to Mobile Mukbang. I'm Andrew,
Michael,
Sam,
and today we're at Jersey Mike's. I know you want to do the intro. We're going to do the intro next time, but we've never been to Jersey Mike's before, so this is a completely new experience.
for you.
You've been to Jersey Mike's?
Yeah, so is he, I believe. Like once.
You guys have been to Jersey Mike's? I've never been here. I thought this was like a new experience for all of us.
No,
You get out more than you, Andrew.
You guys are so cool, not inviting me anywhere.
well, time I went, it was actually not on my dining room.
Oh, well, I guess I can't blame you then. If it's free, it's free. But anywho, so we all got something different for sure. But of course,
I already have an issue with mine. I'm trying to open it and half the sauce is spilled out into the wrapper.
you know, I believe there is a sauce that says the sauce is the boss. Which one is that again? Oh, you can get that at Walmart.
Alright.
Oh man, it's a really good sauce. I can't remember the name. Someone's going to comment in the comments at some point and remind me. But so, besides your small catastrophe that you're experiencing right now, we need to do our food roll call. So, almost dropped my sandwich. That would have been a quick end to this episode here.
Nah, just for you.
Yeah. Okay, so I got
You got the number 13.
the number 13. I thought that's what I got. The number 13, the original Italian with provolone ham. Prosciutto? Okay, look, I don't know how to pronounce that. Prosciutto? I've never heard of that meat. I don't know why. But there's also another meat, capaculo? Capaculo? Okay, look.
Let's butcher all the meats.
Well, we are in a place where they butcher the meat. Well, they don't butcher it, but they do
No.
spice it fresh. But the point is, okay, I didn't get the...
It's got salami and pepperoni.
So, yeah, okay, then salami pepperoni. Now, I did not get the prosciutto because that apparently is also known here as hot ham. And it's not particularly spicy, but it's got a spicy kick after you eat it. Like, it's spicy in your throat. And I'm like, nah, so they just put more ham, some regular ham on it. So,
I got the same thing, but in the giant size.
yeah, so yours is like, okay, how many inches did they say? This was like 7-something inches.
And this is like 15, 16?
This
Should be
doesn't,
double,
this
I think.
doesn't seem any more than 6 inches, honestly. It seems like a normal 6-inch sub.
I don't have a measuring tool on me.
I know. You know what? We got to start bringing a ruler every time we go out.
We mentioned that last time, too.
Did we?
Yeah.
You know, doing this once a month, I guess we have some gaps in our information between each
Nah,
other.
that's just you.
Oh, really? So why didn't you guys remind me when I was asking if we had all the equipment? Exactly, because you two forgot as well. See? I am not the one at fault here. Not completely.
We can double check because Mike bought extra for later, so
That's
we'll just take
true,
off
actually.
of that.
So, anywho, you got the
Hey,
same thing I
You
did.
know what? Coupons are a wonderful thing.
That is true. We did get
Also-
all our stuff. We did get a coupon.
Also, should point out that seeing as how it's hand cut in half, it will vary slightly.
That's true. That's true because here, unlike the previous place we were at, Jimmy John's, it's not all done ready. They cut it for you fresh here, like you would get at like a deli at your supermarket, where they got the circular slicer and they slice you the fresh stuff, which is actually kind of
Rocking out
nice.
there? Rocking out there?
Kind of. No, you know the lawnmower? No, I'm doing the ham slicer. There you go. That's a new dance move. Okay. But no, they cut everything fresh here, which is an interesting case. I've never actually seen a sub sandwich place do that. It's almost always like pre-cut. So in that sense, it's kind of nice. I mean, to be fair, this place is also considerably more expensive than a bunch of the other sandwich places.
But
Way more expensive than Subway, which you've been to. A bit more expensive than Jimmy John's.
but now we got Firehouse ahead of us.
That's true. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves because we're not even done with the food roll call. Sam, as we saw with your monstrosity, you want to fill us in on what you got here?
I am a sucker for meatball sub. So, that's what I got. Meatballs, provolone, and some nice sauce. I'm hesitant on calling it nice.
I'm surprised they didn't give you marinara. Or, no, I'm sorry, not marinara. Mozzarella.
Provolone's another big secondary.
That's true. I guess I'm kind of partial to mozzarella because it's such a versatile cheese. Which, I don't know if cheese has ever been defined as versatile before.
Sure, why not? It goes on anything.
Cheese sticks, that's always mozzarella. Sub
Not
sandwiches.
always.
You sure?
Yes.
I've never seen anything other than mozzarella.
I can show you half a dozen. My grandmother gets them.
Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected. So,
I would say they are the most common, with the secondary being the half and half ones.
I've never seen one half and half either. What
I have.
I feel like I'm being so left out in terms of what possibilities there are for food, but
Dude, you gotta get out more.
yeah, dude. Well, this is our getting out of the house once a month, and now we gotta compare
that's you.
this. Well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just went to a fancy pizza place.
To be fair, I went to a pizza place a few days ago as well. I gave him the leftovers.
Was your pizza place armed with 7 ovens that can cook a pizza in 90 seconds?
No.
Or under?
But I did get the restaurant to myself because it was technically closed, but they let me in anyway. But anywho, so now we gotta eat our sandwiches and kind of compare it.
Mine's a mess.
Well, to be fair, most meatball sub sandwiches are kind of just messy.
are a little messier. Grant, I'm used to Subway, which I've always been able to eat pretty cleanly, but... Oh. Myself and Andrew got cream soda, and he got the root beer from the Stubborn brand that they have.
Yeah, it's stubborn. It's
No, it's Stubborn.
Is it really stubborn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was something else. Man, I'm just not on point today. Well,
No, you're not.
Well, it happens. But is that like an in-house brand? I've never seen that brand elsewhere.
Neither have I. I just saw cream soda, and that's rare. I like it. Going for it. And it's not bad.
To be fair, I don't think I've ever seen cream soda outside of an A&W restaurant readily available on a soda fountain tap. You don't see cream soda as an option a lot.
You can get it in cans and stuff.
Well, I'm saying as a fountain drink.
Yeah.
Free refills?
Not commonly, no.
You know, why is that? Cream soda's good. Cream soda's awesome.
Would they have had it at A&W?
Yes, they would have, because A&W makes cream soda. They also have the vanilla.
I think it's at Culver's as well.
Maybe at Culver's.
I could see that.
But they have the
But
vanilla
it's also
root beer at A&W, which is
Burger
really
King.
good. No, it's not a Burger King.
Oh, Burger King.
Oh, well, if
they got
if they have the all-in-one machine, but not all Burger Kings have that.
Well,
a lot
true.
of them do now.
So some.
Some. Anyone's that, well, okay, be fair, any restaurant that's got the all-in-one machine, they just add
assuming
flavors.
it's working properly.
That's true. Someone once told me those things are like, I think we've talked about this on another episode. Someone told me they're like the flavors and everything are cartridges, like a printer. Only
can
it's
see it.
flavor. Yeah. So that leads me to believe you could fine-tune those machines.
Doubt it.
But I also
It'd
see.
be really funny if you could just throw in. Someone goes to prank. Someone just throws in, instead of vanilla flavoring that gets added to everything, it's like the hot pepper sauce or whatever.
Oh.
What's it called? Starts with a C.
Cyan.
Is it that? No.
Just name the printer color.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
Cyan.
No, but actually,
You know what?
Capsaicin?
Yeah, thank you.
no, but with those cartridges, they have to be of that. They have to be a specific type of cartridge you plug in.
Well, obviously, it's a proprietary machine, but Fuddruckers has their own in-house soda on that all-in-one machine.
Yeah, so it can't be completely like closed source.
Yeah, it's got to have some.
Well, Wendy's has their own as well.
That's
Well,
true. Well, no.
Yeah.
What,
Does Wendy's?
Wendy's has the soda machine, yes, but
They don't have their
they
in-house
don't have
brand.
it in the whole
Yeah,
house.
they-
Well, it's like a off-brand, but you only get that brand at Wendy's.
What brand?
You said that like strawberry cream soda. Not sure.
Oh, no, Dave's soda. Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot about it. So it's readily apparent with those soda machines, you can have a custom flavor for sure. And restaurants do that. And oftentimes I think they favor their custom flavors. They're probably cheaper for them to make than it is to license, buy, ship, and all that. So I think people go for those custom flavors. It's probably less expensive for them. And to be fair, they're usually pretty good.
It also depends on how those cartridges work. If they're refillable, then at the end of the day, they're just like anything else. Almost.
Also, we forgot something.
What's that?
We went completely off track. We forgot to give our review of what we think of the sandwich.
We haven't finished the sandwich yet. How can we review something we haven't had?
Well, by taste.
Well, we're still eating. You know, this is the food. We're in the eating portion, Mike. Did we say we're at Jersey Mike's? Did we at least say that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
No, we're actually from Wendy's right now.
Oh, funny. We're still testing. We're in the testing phases right now, Mike.
It doesn't say like Jersey Mike's behind me or over
It says
there.
it right there
Yeah, it's literally right there.
on the wall.
Now,
Yeah.
we gave Mike here a jersey.
It also said over here. Are the quotes in the
It says
camera?
on our cups.
That too.
Yeah.
It says it in a few places.
On our sandwich bag.
It says it nowhere.
Now who's not on point?
That's true.
See, it's not just me.
Well, I was being sarcastic.
Oh. Grrr.
Let's blame the food and just say Jersey Mike's causes amnesia.
Need to forget the troubles of your day? Stop into Jersey Mike's and enjoy our sandwich. Jersey Mike's, give me a call.
That'd be a really funny tagline.
One thing I do like the vinaigrette here. Their red wine vinegar. It gives a good taste.
There are several sauces they put out here. The bread, not the best bread I ever had, but it does taste kind of fresh. It's a bit plain.
Did you get the white or the wheat?
White.
I don't like all the extra stuff on the bottom here, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, I mean, I am getting a lot of it on my shirt here, but to be fair, my shirt was slightly messy before I got in the restaurant. But this is all new.
Messy, messy man.
Well, hey, someone's getting paid to clean it up, right?
How are you so messy?
Right? You even have a patch, and you're still messy.
Okay, my beard is not technically a catch.
Yeah, what do you think a beer is for? It's a soup strainer. It holds food for later.
Okay, first off, if you're holding soup in your beard, you've either got a beard made of plastic, because beard is porous. Beard's got a lot of air in between each hair. But I will say this, I am just straight up naturally a very messy eater. I don't know why. Everything I eat, I could be eating, I don't know, what's an example of a really clean, easy food?
Chicken.
Hot dogs.
No, see, hot dogs you can have a lot of toppings, and that can get
Not necessarily. Just hot dogs.
just no bun, no toppings.
I'll allow a bun. But you still generally have seeds with those.
No, see, that's if you have a poppy seed one. I could still make a hot dog messy. You know
I
why?
didn't feel this well in my hands. I can't feel that.
You might want to see a doctor. But no, I can see. Here's how a hot dog get messy. Simple. If you microwave the hot dog, if you're just really hungry, guess what? Hot dog's got some hot dog juice inside the hot dog. You bite the hot dog juice comes out and gets on your shirt. That's how you make it messy. I find ways.
Okay.
You're just looking for an excuse.
Okay, viewers.
No, I'm not giving you an excuse. I'm giving you past experience.
Hey, viewers. What is the cleanest food you can think of? Let's see what they come up with.
The cleanest food. what is... I mean, every food can be messy. And any food can be
Ice
food
cream.
with the right material.
I got it. Ice cream bars in a cold environment. Those are kind of hard to get messy with. Not impossible, just kind of hard.
I suppose... Well, no. I'll tell you why. Ever had those ice cream bars with a thin layer of chocolate on the outside?
I didn't specify the type.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
A thin layer of chocolate on the outside, vanilla on the inside. Chocolate crumbs from when you eat and bite down because it gets brittle once it touches your mouth. Gets on your shirt. Had that happen too.
You need to learn how to eat, my man.
See, that's the thing is, I know how to eat, but I'm just
Not efficient.
very mentally. You know, efficiency is a measure of ratios.
Yeah, the amount of food that's in front of you versus the amount of food that ends up actually down your gullet.
See, the ratio I'm going for is food getting into me as quickly as possible. See, I've been told I'm a quick eater, and for the sake of these videos, I try and be not as fast. But I've definitely seen people that, like, are twice as fast at eating as me, and people are always told me when I was young, like, slow down, enjoy your food. Or eat it slower, you'll feel fuller. And I'm like, that's not how this works.
Honestly, that one's just a flat out lie for everyone, so okay.
Yeah, I
But
know. It's like, no, you feel fuller. Your stomach will feel fuller if you eat slower, and then you won't want to eat as much. I'm like, it's a defined set value of cubic inches in my stomach that, okay, it can expand.
Well, okay, it is a defined set with the expansion rate, but there are other things that go in there, such as stomach acids. So depending on how quick you eat and how fast you produce acid, there's a little bit of leeway regardless of the size of your stomach. But you can eat quickly while still being clean with your meal.
So the quicker you eat, the harder it is to be. I'm just saying.
I don't know, even from a young age I was scoffing down my food so fast that I've legitimately been asked, did you even get food?
Well,
And if I'm leaving, like, if they can ask that, that means there's, like, no crumbs anywhere to be seen.
I guess, but okay, at this point we've all eaten part or most of our sandwich. Now,
Yeah, you're falling behind.
I know, well, to be fair, I am giving some talking points here. And the main
We
talking
haven't
point...
been?
You haven't been talking, you've just been eating. That's how you've been able to eat, like, 1.5 times the amount of sandwich we have.
Actually, he's just starting on the second half of his, so
Okay.
I beat him despite the fact he isn't talking.
He brings up a fair point. But the next fair point is, okay, so this is how much sandwich you get here.
You have
The
lettuce on your hand.
Well, yes, of course I do. It's lettuce. It's chopped lettuce. It's going to fall out. But the point is, okay, for the sub here, what's different about Jersey Mike's is the fact that they put a variety of meats. They told us what the most popular sandwiches were because, well, I asked because I've never been here, so I wasn't sure. They gave me samples of some of the meats because I wasn't sure if I was going to like them. Glad I did because, like I said, one of the meats was spicy and that wouldn't really sit well with me. So the amount of meat you get on the sandwich is actually pretty decent, and that's important because the sandwiches here are more expensive per inch. But that's only if you're going, XY axis. If you go Z axis, go up. It is a thicker sandwich than most other restaurants. So taking that into account,
Spiciness is different to every
okay, I get
person.
it. That is relative. To me, I'm really sensitive to spice.
Also, for the different meats comment, all of the other places we went to had ones that had like 4 or 5 meats on them.
That's true. And yes, the basic ham, cheese, sandwich, etc. is less expensive than what we got.
Yeah, like the cold cut is the cheapest thing at Subway.
But, getting the most popular options, they let us know. And looking at the most popular options, the one we saw, it seemed reasonable for the amount of different meats, because there were at least 4 different meats, a cheese, and then they specified about 7 inches on the regular, and then like 14, 15 inches ish on the giant, which you got the giant, I got the regular, he got the regular. So you can't look at this particular sandwich specifically based on inches like you would like Subway, where it's all so incredibly standardized and pre-prepared, right? This one, they're all cutting it fresh, stacking it up, and the meat actually does pile pretty high. So when we talk about price, we got to keep that in mind. So also to be fair, we did use coupons. I got $2 off a regular.
As did I.
And then you got a discount on the Giants. So
He ordered for lunch tomorrow and the next day or something?
I think, what's the normal price for what I got a 13? It was like $8? $8-ish?
Somewhere between 6 and 8, yeah.
Yeah, so, looking at that price, given the length, it doesn't seem like a great value, but given the width, the entire girth of the sandwich with all the meats, it gets closer to being justifiable. It's still pricier.
I will also bring up one more thing for the girth. The sandwich you have here is girthier on the meat portion, but thinner on the bread portion, so overall you're actually thinner still. But the stuff that you do have is more meaningful. It's not the cheap stuff.
Yeah, it's a variety
can
of different meats. It's okay.
Well,
if you're talking about like density of food, meat is.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm like. For example, I want to say it was Subway. It might have been either way. One of our previous ones, the bread was super thick. It was like ½ inch, 3/4 thick. This stuff's like quarter.
Yeah,
I think that was
relatively thick. But
Jimmy John's takes out a ton of the bread. They scoop out bread from the inside, so their bread is pretty thin. Subway, their bread is kind of their bread and butter. But point is, people go there because they got a variety of bread. It's soft bread,
mostly.
And being a chain, bread is probably the least expensive part of that sandwich.
Yeah, so they stuff you with it.
So. I guess, you're right. In terms of value, you got to consider what the sandwich is comprised of. And meats are a more expensive, part of a sandwich than bread is. So, overall, the price could be off-putting if you don't understand what goes into a Jersey Mike's sandwich. Mm-hmm. But, after having it and thinking about it for a minute, you know what? The amount of ingredients and being dense food like meats and cheeses and stuff and not focusing so heavily on the bread, it's actually not bad. And if you can find the coupon, $2 off a regular or a giant, that's pretty good.
About similar to competitors.
Yeah, about
not
similar,
quite,
but just a little bit higher. But the price, I think, is justified. If you use the coupon, for sure, it's justified.
But you know what?
Depending on coupon too.
The giant here versus the giant that we had the last time.
Well, once again, we're talking about overall length. Now, Jimmy John's.
No, I'm not talking about length. I'm talking about the amount of food on the sandwich.
Well, starting from a base point, the length of a Jimmy John's sub sandwich is like 8 inches to begin with. For a regular sandwich.
Can I go on a quick 2-second tangent?
Sure.
I wonder, while watching these videos, how much of this really sounds like regular old rambling? Because think about what we're talking about this heavily.
What? Sandwiches?
Yeah.
Well,
not even just I would give we're more or less a reviewish type channel, not quite but close to. But I don't know.
Well, to be fair, it's all very pertinent information. I mean, if we're talking about sub sandwiches this year, this is relevant. And okay, a Jimmy John's standard sub sandwich is about 8 inches, and their full size is 16 inches. It's a big piece of bread. Now they do take out a lot of the bread. They scoop out the inside because I guess they want you to taste the flavors on the inside. So I bet you can ask them not to do that because I'm assuming they just throw out a bunch of random pieces of inner bread. I don't know what they do with it actually, but You were saying you think that Jimmy John's was actually thicker than this?
Yeah.
So,
You know what? For this being about an inch smaller in length, but it's got less inside,
okay.
and it's not as filling.
You're right.
And this one costs more.
It does cost more. Now, that being said,
Filling is also somewhat relative.
do you think the higher quality meats is worth? Because let's face it, they are better cuts of meat. They're not just pre-packaged sitting there ready. I mean, okay, maybe not better cuts, but arguably fresher.
Yeah, for viewers' reference, obviously you go to a Subway or something and they have all these meats pre-cut into the precise size and then generally not labeled, but like in Ziploc bags as portions, and then they just kind of toss it on here.
It's all cookie cutter ready to go.
Yeah,
You know?
here, however, they still have pre-packaged meats, but it's the same pre-packaged meats that you can buy for, $50 at whatever grocery.
So basically, like any other deli, they slice it on the spot.
Yeah.
So arguably, it's more fresh when you order it, which that could play to their financial benefit for one. Less packaging to deal with, and arguably a little fresher. But does it overall taste better? Because here's my thing: I do feel that the sandwich is pretty good, but it's really complex. Because there are a lot of different flavors contending for your taste buds here.
And that's something I might be able to help on, because I didn't have that complexity issue. I had 3 ingredients.
That's true.
4 if you count the bread. But as far as mine went, the ground beef in the meatballs actually tasted more like plain ground beef without any spices or anything. Like when I bite into a Subway one, I can tell there's extra herbs and spices and stuff in here and there.
Yeah.
Here, it was just a meatloaf.
Just a chunk of meat with some sauce.
Meatball. Yeah.
There's more to a meatball than just meat. Adding spices into a given flavor.
Yeah. So with mine, it was relatively plain. It wasn't bad, just plain.
Okay.
But when we were at Jimmy John's, after I got done with eating, I was full.
Well, again, as I brought up, that's somewhat relative based on how hungry you are beforehand.
It was basically waking up, not eating since the night before, so about the same amount of time.
There's a lot of factors that go into that, though, at the end of the day, so it's not as precise as you might
feel
think.
that this sandwich is like a total shotgun approach to trying to please too many things at once. I think the overall flavor is actually too convoluted. I think I actually prefer Jimmy John's over this.
Question, though. You technically made a modification to your burger.
Well,
Do you think
all I did was took tomato out, which I never have tomato.
But you also made a modification to what?
The meat.
Oh, so what I did is instead of having the spice, well, here's the thing. Adding spice is just adding another flavor to this mix.
Yeah.
It's like adding, would you take a soup and mix like tomato soup with chicken noodle soup with clam chowder?
Does he know who I am?
I don't know.
Okay. Would the average person do?
Average person, probably not, but how much do they cook? Secondly, not those particular ones, true, but I have mixed a huge number of flavors to a successful stew.
And I agree it can be done, but it feels like this is just too many things, too many flavors trying to compete for your taste buds. And in that respect, I feel that flavor-wise, it's not as satisfying as more standardized sandwiches tend to be. Because, the advantage that Jimmy John's has is alright, it's a simple setup, and you can get the one with they can. You can have what you had, which is like this, where combining a bunch of different meats. We've done that. There's a lot of restaurants that do that, but in addition to the meats, they
They're
added
turning away customers right now.
Yeah, they ran out of bread.
In addition to the meats, they are also combining several different sauces on the number 13.
And quick note for viewers, yes, I did mention that apparently they ran out of bread. I just overheard the guy say it a little while ago. But that's not necessarily a slight against them, though that shouldn't normally happen. They had, just before us, they had someone order, 7 subs or something like that, just for the one guy, and then he orders 3 gigantic ones, so...
You're part of the problem, man. No.
Yeah, so...
I also bought for a couple days.
Well, also, to be fair, a restaurant shouldn't over-provision if they're going on a freshness basis.
Not only that, but it's 7:30, which is well after the prime time for dinner, so... The people, however, were quite nice and helped us deal with a little technical issue we had at the register.
Yeah, and they were nice enough to let me test out different meats to see if I like it or not. And they answered our questions, but overall, I think the sandwich is trying to accomplish too many flavors at once. It is more expensive than I think most people are willing to pay, unless you're
That depends on income.
Totally. We do focus a lot on value-based, so value per dollar, it's hard. It's right on the edge of being a little too expensive, but still somewhat reasonable.
Yeah.
Value per dollar, I say Jimmy John's.
I'd have to agree. Jimmy John's is probably better value per dollar than Jersey Mike's.
So long as you don't want something hot.
That's true. Now, I also would argue Jimmy John's. This is totally personal, but I prefer a somewhat simple sandwich. Give me one sauce, give me one veggie that I really like, and then give me 1 or 2 meats on a simple bun, and that works for me. Now, to be fair, if I go to some place like Subway, I get all the veggies I can, as long as it's not tomato or spicy. And I usually only get 1 meat because they charge you for every extra meat. So you don't get a lot of meats. But their shotgun approach is vegetables, which vegetables in some senses kind of blend together nicely. But with Subway, man, they really gouge you on any meats. Because the bread is mainly, they're relying on that to fill you up to try and justify the price.
But there's barely any bread.
No, not on Subway. Subway's pretty...
It also depends on the particular type of bread, but...
I get the Italian herbs and cheese.
I get that too. I would say that the Italian herbs and cheese is way more meat, or way more bread than this.
Technically, meat's still a valid term, because it has meat of the bread.
But
as far as the meat, they gouging you on the meat, that depends on what you start with, too.
Well, if you're going with basic camp.
Well,
I get the Italian BMT.
If you start off with something meatier, then you're not so bad. Like the meatball sub, or even the cold cut that has 3-4 different types of meats.
Yeah, the BMT is one of them.
But if you start off with something that only has one, like the turkey bacon ranch one, which I also enjoy, then in order to get any more meat than that, then you got it, because it's an extra meat.
Yeah, although... I don't know. Does Subway have a shotgun meat approach for any other sandwiches as a standard?
I'd have to double check.
I don't remember there being one.
There is a limited amount they have on. They go by serving size.
And each Subway, to be fair, has a different set on how much meat they're going to put on there. Some of them just straight up don't put a lot. Some of them will put...
Somewhat. Because they do have the pre-portion things for some of them, and they pre-portion
for ham,
ahead
it's
of
just
time.
stacked up cut slices.
That depends on which one. Because I've actually gone to them and seen...
Really? The ones in the paper, just flip it on, ready to go?
Yeah.
I've never seen a Subway do that.
Yeah, I think what it is that they're supposed to pre-prep ahead of time. But if their employees are lazy or something, they just kind of toss it in there and grab how much they think.
That's interesting.
Maybe.
Every time I've been to a Subway with anything regarding ham, it's always stacks of slices. And they will they'll fold the slice in half and put it on there. But some of them just straight up put more than others. If you call them out on it, sometimes they might actually put more. To be fair, though, Subway managerial staff has been known to come down harder on employees for not conserving. Some Subways charge for a cup of water. I've been to one where they charge you $1.50 for a cup of water, just fountain water. So there's not really a standard with Subway, as much as you'd like to think it is. And maybe that's because they had this idea of the $5 foot long. It's not profitable anymore. As we've known, it's not profitable to have a $5 foot long anymore, so they skimp on other ingredients to make up for it to keep it the same price. So that's kind of the downfall when you brand yourself as having a certain amount of food for a certain amount of dollars, and then suddenly it's not profitable to do that anymore.
Okay, so they have a couple of meatier-looking options, 2 of which are spicy, so you wouldn't have ever touched them.
The spicy Italian's good.
And then the other one is steak and cheese,
That's good.
and it's basically just a roast beef type deal.
But it's not a lot of meat, though.
I mean, that, again, depends on the individual portioning, apparently.
Okay, well, we're all done with our sandwiches, so end conclusion time.
I already gave my review of my burger, so how about
Well, simple, it's like
Sandwich.
just straight to the point, worth the money or not?
how much did I pay again? 7 something?
Mine was like $14.
All things given, I'd be willing to pay again, but it might have been a little high.
You know what? To get at the
Drink,
Mike's...
sorry for the interruption. Drink was good though. They have good cream soda.
What made it a little bit more worth it for the price is, you know what? They got that red wine vinegar, which is really good.
Not
And
something I would have touched.
no,
I don't like vinegar,
oh,
and I'm only iffy on red wine to begin with. So.
oh well.
So you think it's worth the money for what you got?
For once in a while, yes. And for like a meal that you're coming to like on a regular basis, no.
For me, this is an obvious no. For me, it was too scattered in terms of what it's trying to accomplish. There's no central flavor it's going for. It's trying to please too many things at once, and it can't do it by itself in any particular area. It's way more expensive than alternative options, and to me, just doesn't taste as good.
But the root beer is good.
I had the cream soda. The
Yeah.
cream soda's not bad. For a fountain cream soda, it's not bad. Not as good as A&W, but there's not a lot of A&W restaurants. But for me, this sandwich, no. I wouldn't. I don't think I would return here on any frequent basis. Just
Once in a
simply.
while.
In general, or just for that
I
sandwich?
just think in general, knowing other options are out there, Jersey
No,
Mike's
once-
is not for me.
Once in a
That's
blue
fair.
moon, though, is
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're craving something a little different, sure. But if you're someplace you would frequent, nah, not really.
Subway.
Not for you, huh?
Subway,
That's fair.
Subway and Jimmy John's.
Nah, for me, in one time we had to do it, Mr. Sub.
Oh yeah.
But that being said,
That's for
let's
another
give
day.
a toast, closing out the episode. And Sam, you want to close this out with your hand over the camera?